Hi everybody. I'm on the second learning packet and I'm on day 2 and the second math page, which is all about telling time to the nearest minute. So what we're going to do is we're going to remember our rules for telling time. First thing I want you to do is find the shorthand and look at where the shorthand is pointing. In this case, the shorthand is still pointing in the region of the 4s. And the reason why I say that is because it hasn't reached the 5 yet. So it is not 5 o'clock yet. It is still just 4 o'clock. So we'll go ahead and start by putting a 4 in the hour spot. So it is 4. And now we need to count our minutes. And for our minutes, we're going to count by 5s as far as we can. The minute hand is pointing way up here. So I'm going to be counting by 5s starting here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and now I need to count tick marks. 56, 57, 58. And that's where that hand is pointing. It's pointing at the 58th tick mark. So we're going to say it's 4:58. Now, one of the problems that I noticed most often in class was that when people were counting, they started counting here and they said this was 5, this was 10, this was 15. No, remember, this first is our 0. We start at 12 o'clock, 12:00. So don't count right here as a 5. You don't start counting 5s until you jump here, right? Because each of these little guys is a tick mark. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is your 5th tick mark. 6, 7, 8, 9. Here's number 10. Here's 15. Here's 20. And to check your answer, you can just multiply times 5. So 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 5 is 20. So this is the 20 mark. 5 times 5 is 25. This is the 25 mark. 6 times 5 is 30. This is the 30 mark. All right? Okay, so on to the next clock. Clock 2, look for the shorthand. Another common problem was people getting their hands mixed up. I want you to find the shorthand first, and that's this one here. The shorthand is pointing between the 6 and the 7. It has not reached the 7 yet, so it is not 7 o'clock. It is 6. So we're going to go ahead and put a 6 o'clock here, and then we're going to count by 5s for our minutes. Starting here, this is 0, remember. First jump, there's 5, there's 10, 15, 20, 21, and 22. That is pointing to the 22. So it is 6:22. All right, next clock. Now, if you're feeling really confident, pause me, solve all of them, come back, and look at the video just to find out what your answer was. If you're feeling like you need a little bit more help, don't worry, I'm going to go over each one. Number 3, shorthand first. Shorthand is pointing close to the 3. It has not reached the 4 yet, so it is 3 o'clock. So we're going to write 3 in the hour spot, and then we're going to count by 5s for our minutes. And our minute hand is right here, so we're not going to have to count too much. 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 3:08. And I need you guys to remember that when it's 3:01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, it needs to look like this, 3:08. Not just 3:08. This is not what you want to write down as your time. That won't work. Remember, it's 3:08. Once you hit the 10, you're good and you don't have to worry about that 0 in front. But for the smaller numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, put a 0 in front. Okay? All right, moving on to clock 4. Clock 4 shows that the hour hand, which again, we always look for the hour hand first. Hour hand, nice short one, is between the 10 and the 11. It has not reached the 11, so it is not 11 o'clock yet. It is 10 o'clock. Counting our minutes, we go 5, 10, 15, 20. And it's actually right there at the 20. So it is 10:20. Again, as soon as you feel confident, pause me, finish the rest on your own, and then play me again so you can check your answers. On to number 5, shorthand first. Shorthand is pointing between the 1 and the 2. It hasn't reached the 2 yet, so it is 1 o'clock. And then we count by 5s for our minute hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I didn't count by 5s on that one because I'm going to multiply by 5s. Fancy, I'm going to make it a little bit fancier here. I'm at the 7th jump. 7 times 5 is 35. Bam, done. Because it's pointing right there, I can just type that as a 35. So you've got 2 choices. You can count by 5s like you've seen me doing here, 5, 10, 15, 20. Or you can look at where it landed. 7 times 5 is 35. There you go, right? You can multiply or you can skip count by 5s. Either one. All right, on to clock number 6. Clock number 6, the shorthand is pointing. Now be careful here. The first thing I wanted to say was, oh, it's pointing at the 8. But then I looked at the minute hand and I realized, wait a second. The minute hand is so far around the clock that it's about ready to turn into the next hour. And that tells me, stop, slow down. This hour hand looks like it's pointing at the 8, but it is not. It's actually pointing right here, which means it's not 8 o'clock yet. It's still 7. So when the minute hand is this far along on the clock, it has not turned the next hour. Really watch that hour hand. It's not actually on the 8 yet. It's still on the 7. Now I'm going to count by 5s. I am going to count by 5s on this one because it's not directly on a multiple of 5. So I know I'm going to have to do some counting by 1s also. So I'm going to do my counting by 5s method. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 51, 52, 53. And I'm saying that that is pointing at the 53. If you did the math and you're checking right now and you said 54, you were close. It's actually pointing at the 53. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell. I just try to zoom in a little bit more each time. All right, next clock. The hour hand is the short one, and it looks like it's pointing at the 6. I'm looking at my minute hand. It's really close to over on this side, which means, yeah. It really is actually pointing at the 6. It's only when the minute hand is over here that I have to stop and wait and go check my hour hand, because when the minute hand is over here, it's getting close to the next hour, and that's when my hour hand gets a little tricky. So it is actually 6 o'clock, and I'm going to count. In this case, I'm just going to count by 1s because my minute hand didn't even make it to the 5. 1, 2, 3. So that minute hand is pointing at the 3. And remember, you don't write it as 6, 3. Nope, that's not what you want. Okay, you want 6, 0, 3. That's how you want to write that time. All right, next clock. Minute hand, or the hour hand is the nice short one, and the short one is between the 12 and the 1. So the hour hand has not reached the 1, so it is 12 o'clock. Minute hand. Let's do some jumps. Whoa, didn't mean to do that. Here we go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And a lot of people might say, hey, okay, it's 12:25, but I need you to look at that again really closely, and you'll notice that it's actually pointing here, right there, which means it's 25 and then one more, 26, 12:26. So if you're checking your math and you said 12:25, just erase it and understand why I'm saying it's 12:26. It's actually pointing one tick mark past the 25. All right, next one. Shorthand, hour hand, between the 4 and the 5, but since it hasn't actually reached the 5 yet, it is 4 o'clock. 4. Now we count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. So it is 4:49 on that clock. All right. Hopefully that answered some of your questions. If it didn't, post your questions in Google Classroom, and I will talk to you later.